obviously stereotypical ooga booga mud hut people anymore. They have modern buildings, that they have people that are high enough IQ to fly even fighter jets. Hello there,
Cute.
people. It's on Keck, Mr.
They have
Perspective again here with another reaction video. We are today reacting to African Nigerian study, but I've watched the video 5 times, so it's going to be
Yeah, I haven't
interesting
actually
for me.
watched it. Yeah, we'll see how interesting this Nigerian African IQ study is. Yeah, quite interesting of Africa's IQ. Let's just get into it, because obviously, make a quick note, it's called the Bantu City Diaries, because obviously I think Fjodor's actually covered the Bantu tribe before on his rise and fall of the Afro race or something, but
Yeah,
should be
like
interesting.
when they were at their relative civilizational peak, and why they kind of became a meme that was just colonized by Europeans and divided in the Berlin Conference. They fell behind in naval tech and industrialization, basically. They had an advantage in disease resistance. Europeans couldn't come to like sub-Saharan Africa very much due to malaria and their vulnerability to it. And well, they're not obviously stereotypical ooga booga mud hut people anymore. They have modern buildings, that they have people that are high enough IQ to fly even fighter jet. They have
Fjodor, we'll cover that in the video as it goes along, if you want. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Right. Anyway, let's continue.
It's all about the IQ. They have the lowest IQ in the world. Well, what can you do with an IQ of under 60? The average IQ is 75. That's what those who watch my channel, especially Westerners, often comment. It's the IQ. So we decided to go to the streets of Nigeria to conduct our own IQ test. I raised the budget and dispatched my team. Well, the findings were very disappointing.
Welcome to Bantu Page. It has been reported that Africa has the lowest IQ in the world today. On the streets of Nigeria, we have come to confirm that. We will conduct IQ tests and bring you the numbers.
You see,
well, it's important to distinguish between North Africa, which is mostly Arabic and a mixture of Arabs and previous tribes like the Carthaginians and the Numidians and stuff, versus Sub-Saharan Africa, which is, I guess, is the olden times people used to say, like, like Black Africa.
You see, there's something about Black people. Whenever a white person come up with a report that's negative towards Black people, they complain about racism. Well, lately, I think they hate me more than the white now.
That can be a cope, basically. The same thing with some women. They're like, if a man brings up any criticism, even valid, it's mansplaining automatically. You can't actually just listen to the critique.
I raised the budget and dispatched my team. Well, the findings were very disappointing. So we conducted our own report. We're Nigerians who went to the street of Nigeria and conducted an IQ test. It was so disappointing that I had to take one myself to make sure this thing wasn't that difficult. And I'm not bragging here. I did pretty well. Our findings...
As you can see, there's a clear distinction between North Africa, which is kind of more light-skinned Arabic people.
Yeah, what about the Coptics? You mentioned the Coptics as well.
The Copts are native to Egypt. They were the main stock of the ancient Egyptian dynasties and kingdoms. There was one, there was like, was it like the 13th or 11th dynasty? Let's see, 25th dynasty, or the Nubian dynasty, and that dynasty was from like Sudan. And that was sub-Saharan in its characteristics. So Egypt was multiracial, but mostly governed by Coptic pharaohs.
From the report you find on Google. Welcome to the IQ experience. When you search online, you'd find studies claiming that sub-Saharan Africans have the lowest IQ in the world. I've seen this report for a long time now. However, my Western audience and the commentators often insist that IQ is the reason why Black Africa is backward. True to form, my team did not fail. They delivered a thorough
Well, there is also a factor. I think me and Fjodor have covered this in like IQ things, but basically we also said that even if they have like a higher IQ, it's also a case of like obviously like to do with levels of corruption and also to do with like missing prefrontal cortex. Because we talked about race mixing and like someone like Andrew Tate, even though he has technically like a very high IQ because of his Russian ancestors, because apparently his IQ is 147, but obviously has like very low impulse control, and obviously the missing prefrontal cortex isn't helping his low impulse control, so that's why.
His father is Afro-American, mother is a British white lady.
Yeah.
Was he Russian descent? I didn't.
Yeah, he had a few Russian ancestors. If you look at his ancestry, he has actually talked about this. So I think that obviously that would help with his IQ. But again, like I said,
it's impulse control basically. It's impulse control, which means that even if if your IQ is high, but you have a very like high ego and you like to brag, what's going to happen is you're going to do something smart, like a crime in that field, but you're going to brag about it, and that's going to get you into trouble. So like high IQ plus high impulse control is the best combination. Like it doesn't mean that you have to be a coward, but you need to think before you act. Otherwise, you can mess up something really bad.
Result. And we have the video evidence to prove it. IQ testing has two formats. William Stern developed the original classical formula based on Alfred Binet's work. The modern version, which no longer uses the term mental age, instead, it applies statistical normalization where scores are distributed around a mean with a standard deviation. This method was influenced by the statistical work of David Wexler. I have never wanted Black Africa.
Yeah, basically it's designed in a way that the median IQ should be 100 usually. So it's reconfigured.
Yeah, plus there's like the bell curve as well between like where it's set for African Americans or like Africans worldwide, and there's like whites that are like there's like two ones. I'll probably get it up in the video, but basically it's like blacks are like here, but like the other graph is like slightly off to the right, where basically it's like that's where the bell curve is. So that's why if they have a mean of 100 in IQ studies, they should score a lot higher, but it'll probably cover this later in his video.
The Ashkenazi Jews are the highest scoring, and then like East Asians in America, like the Hindus in America, they apparently score quite well as well. So it's not like created in a way that the white man should be on top. The Nazis actually banned it because the Jews scored too well for their liking in there.
Well, apparently someone did look into that, and apparently they didn't like ban them technically. They just like were just in disbelief. It was zero contradictions because I looked through his feed about IQ.
Hitler banned it in like not necessarily like no one could do it, but like he banned it in like the way where you could use it for judging people's eugenic traits. Like you could do a random one on the street, but in a government office, it was banned to do an IQ test to judge a person's eugenic state. They instead did they did some German history test, which is factual knowledge, not intelligence. It's a completely different category of intelligence. It's knowledge, basically.
To be better than when I was going through the result. Let me explain how we conducted the test and who our candidates were. We set up to the streets of Lagos and we place our tables, computers at mall, high street and popular areas, and at random, anyone who wants to come, we offer them 1,000 naira to sit down and complete the test. In Nigeria, financial incentives are often necessary to encourage participation.
Do they have a bribe culture in Africa?
Yeah, you can look at the corruption perception index map. A lot of the countries have tribal loyalty structures where basically, let's say South Africa, you get Zulu president, and he will take care of the Zulu tribe and tax the Xhosas and the whites. And when a Xhosa comes, he will tax the whites and the Zulus and just give free shit to his own tribe. And you can't build a state on that foundation. You need to have a state where like everyone's rewarded equally for good efforts. Otherwise, people will not have motivation. You can see the sort of problems they have there. They have blackouts outside of I guess Cape Town. and a lot of ethnic violence and like burning tires around people's necks. Brutal stuff, very brutal stuff.
It's hard to determine whether the monetary reward had a negative or positive effect on the participants, which may have invalidated the result. Nevertheless, the candidates appeared to enjoy the experience. Our candidate included a mix of young and old participants, male and female.
1,000 Nigerian naira are 0.55 pound sterlings.
Really? It's like 50p?
Yeah, but the prices are.
Oh wow! Oh, no,
Yeah,
I was just. I know. It's like a
Yeah.
currency exchange rate thing. Obviously, it's not.
Yeah.
Fuck, bro, 50p. Right. Anyway, let's continue.
Female, as well as A-level student. Everyone who participated was above 16. Only 3%.
1 or 2 meals.
The
So
participants
it's
scored
in Nigeria.
100.
It's worth decent stuff. You can buy like one or two like full meals.
Right. Okay. Right. So
That are
he's
like
brought up. He's brought up the graph.
Mhm.
Would you like
Yes, I see.
to? Would you like to?
Okay, let's see. Okay, so the let's see. Only 3% scored above 100%, while 3% scored above 80 and 90% respectively. The majority, 26, scored 69. Nice. Well, 20% who scored 76. So score by percentage of population. So yeah, usually the average should be 100. Like it's in like Europe, East Asia, it's like 100.
Yeah, because some people in like the Twitter post I saw about this were saying like, oh well, you shouldn't measure someone's intelligence by just like just like a score or something. I was thinking, well, you can because there's actual maths behind it and the predictability of
yeah,
IQ is quite.
It isn't 100% accurate to predict life outcomes, but it has statistically very good predictability. If you have someone with like 69 IQ, probably going to end up like a menial laborer, even if you give them a lot of resources or they're born into a rich parent's household. Whereas if you have like 115, Sean Last did research on that, then even if you're born poor, you tend to associate with other smart people and then tend to rise into quite a high IQ category. So IQ has a better prediction on wealth than like less corrupt Western civilizations, like the Scandinavian countries or the United States, like more socially mobile countries than actual wealth of the parents, because a dumb rich kid will just waste it on maybe crypto scams, sports cars, ladies.
Would that tie in as well? Yeah, ladies of night. Mm-hmm. Would that also tie into like them Odin and as well to do with I think. I guess, yeah, like all the scamming as well, because apparently there's a lot of like Nigerian scammers as well as the team. Yeah, Nigerian piece. That's it. Yeah,
I don't think the scamming is necessarily a low IQ behavior. It's you need to be like tech savvy, somewhat to like understand.
Well, I mean, nowadays you can just use a phone. Yeah, because everyone. Plus, like I know that they've got cellular towers within like Nigeria. I think like they've got a little bit more access to. Is it to do with also like thingy to do with the?
It's more of a sign of poverty. The scam industry. Scam industries attract people from poor backgrounds usually.
No, like I remember watching the Andrew Tate video about the casinos, and like a lot of the times they would do it in poor areas. Like he wouldn't attract like very high players or something. He would like attract like people in debt.
I would say that the scam culture can be created more easily in a country with lower IQs because more people in there fall for it, and then they'll try to export it. So
yeah,
in that sense, it can be easier to do in a lower IQ country. So we have distribution. So 102, only 3.3%. So the median seems to be around between like 69 and 76. It's like 20%. Usually the African median is said to be like somewhere around 80.
Yeah, usually that is around 80 as well.
Yeah, he will talk about the challenges and the possible like polluting factors later on as well.
And two, and another 3% scored over 80 and over 90, respectively. The highest group, 26%, scored 69, followed by the second highest group, 20%, scored 76. Disappointingly, 52% of participants scored below 70, accounting for half of our candidates. Overall, the average score was 73, while the median was 69. This raises some pertinent questions. How does IQ affect a population's ability to invent, produce, develop, or run a country? Is the IQ test really useful? IQ testing can be useful, but its value depends on how and why it is utilized.
Just don't move. Musical, you have like absolute hearing where can you hear tones. I never had that. Visual naturalist, understanding, reading. Yeah, impulse control, meditation, social intelligence. Yeah, social intelligence is very important if you're a nerd with no social connections. It's really hard to get even very good ideas. So you need like a Chad to help you, to be like your public face, to help sell your idea usually. So like a nerd and Chad team. The Chad is like handsome and attracts investment, and you like do the brain work. Finding the right words. Yeah, linguistic. Yeah, persuasion. Yourself. Yeah, like as I told before, yeah, IQ is not like 100%.
Yeah, there's something like emotional IQ, because some people said that like that's apparently fake. Like
I mean, autists are proof that it's an important thing. Like autists have like naturally very little, like you being able to react to people's facial expressions, and
yeah, sometimes I think that's also to do with like the impulsiveness of like a combination of ADHD and autism, because obviously someone like me, like I actually did an emotional IQ test, and apparently I'm like quite emotionally high IQ, like in just understanding like the psychology of like people's emotions. But like if I'm actually interacting people, I'm like very stereotypical of like how I interact with like how an artist would. I'd basically just be very a little bit spaggy, a little bit awkward, or saying inappropriate things.
Yeah, we tend to speak very fast sometimes.
Yeah,
better to, as Cheeky said, slow it down, and because normal people don't normal people cannot react to this type of speech very well. Yeah, and like with IQ, it's also just having you need to have self-discipline to actually apply it, because like there are plenty of neckbeards who have high IQs who just waste it on like 24/7 World of Warcraft farming. Like it's understandable if you have like a game like I did with the Navy Tycoon, where you dedicate a few days to like farming a lot, but like these guys, they just spend like fucking months, like every day, just 24/7 playing this World of Warcraft stuff, and yeah, like if you have a high IQ, apply it, but don't like be an arrogant dude who just thinks that it will like magically get you to the top.
Okay. Testing can be useful, but its value depends on how and why it is utilized. Psychologists view it as one tool among many to understand cognitive abilities rather.
Oh yeah, if you have like, memory is also, like Napoleon had a very like good memory. Like he could like remember very good aspects. Learning ability, yes, how well you download info into your brain. I think I should write a short pamphlet about my methods as a Spurg, but language.
Yeah,
language learning ability, perception, yeah.
And a complete measure of intelligence. They use IQ tests to help diagnose hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and autism spectrum disorder. In psychology and cognitive science, IQ tests help researchers study human intelligence.
Wait, bro. Is that a freaking nerd? Where's the nerd? Nerd! Yeah, it's like doing
you just wanted to get that in, didn't you? I was wondering why you were trying to pause the video.
Yeah, I was also, maybe he'll explain it later on, but also how the IQ test is applied. So I've seen like data sets with very, very like bad errors. For example, you go to a Canadian area with a lot of Native Americans, and they don't speak English very well, and you give the test instruction in English. what is proper to do is you ask the educator or the lead, like the teacher of the group, like what language do they speak best, and you do the test instructions in that language, so you can avoid like errors that could come from just linguistic barriers. So like you give them in like Objiva or
Yeah, I think I
somewhere
think I
where-
had an issue with Cheeky because I was wondering where the word banning list is on the Discord, and it was in French because the word retard apparently was like a completely different in French.
Okay, yeah. But basically the tests have to be the test instruction should be given in the, I guess, native language or the best spoken language. Then you should make sure that the environment is stress-free, and it should give, as he did, like motivations. And I think like the best results is usually when you tell them the better you do, the more money you get, for example. Like that motivates people to perform at their peak. So yeah, rewards are a good thing. Stress-free environment, like you don't like stare at them constantly while they're doing it. Give them some privacy and give instructions in like native language. But yeah, so you do that to try to get the best performance out. And I guess you could even give them like chocolate or like a chocolate bar to like boost their blood sugar, or fruit. You need some blood sugar to think. Okay, let's see.
Tests help
Mhm.
researchers study human intelligence, brain development, and learning processes. It is important to note that IQ tests do not measure all forms of intelligence.
Oh,
They
nice.
primarily
I mentioned that, habits, self-discipline, if you just play World of Warcraft all day. Respect, kindness, social skills. Yeah.
assess
Yeah, I think
logical reasoning.
I actually did other things. I might put it in the video, but basically, there's just different forms of intelligence. So when, like, for example, you've got leadership, where basically, you know how to lead a bunch of people, which is like really important if you're like running a business. And then there's other forms, like I said earlier, with emotional intelligence. But there's also just to do with different types of disorders like anxiety disorders, which obviously can impact your interactions with people, and as well to do with man, like for example, like social anxiety is quite high, obviously because of autism, and also to do with, I think, developing some type of OCD, and sometimes my OCD is like different. I can't remember which type I have more likely to have, but I think it's to do with probably more the repetitive of doing things. Because obviously, as an artist, I love repetitivity.
Pattern recognition, verbal ability, and work.
There's a useful thing here, like curiosity is very important. If you don't, you need to have a drive to actually learn new things. If you don't have that drive, you could be autistic, repeating one thing. And with leadership and like social skills, I would say you need, as a Spurg or any person, you need theoretical knowledge, and you need to actually have you need to like train the shyness or like this fear of social interactions out of yourself to be actually able to properly apply them. So you can't be like afraid to properly present, let's say, a business idea in a business meeting. If you're like quaking in your boots and crapping yourself, then even if you have the theoretical knowledge of how to present it, it's not going to work. You need to have the courage plus the social the skills and the theoretical knowledge, then you can apply it.
Intelligence.
Yeah.
They primarily assess logical reasoning, pattern recognition, verbal ability, and working memory. In contrast, they do not evaluate creativity, emotional intelligence.
That's what he did mention. So basically what I said previously is
IQ
give them like a fruit to increase blood sugar, stress-free environment, and instruct them in their native language. In addition, like check if their water supply has some lead in it or some fucking poisonous crap that may fuck with their brain. That can also mess up your cognitive abilities. So
do not fully represent an individual's overall intelligence or potential.
Countries of the lowest IQ. Which countries with the lowest IQ? But what's this? We have Zambia, which is like 64. Even I think it's Lesotho, 66. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know my African flags that well. 62 seems to be Sao Tome and Principe. Let's applaud them. Do we take Why TikTokers say black people have the lowest IQ and are dumb, more negative. Black people, well, yeah, the accurate claim you should make is that statistically more have a lower and are dumb in that sense.
Yeah,
It
you
doesn't
shouldn't,
mean
you
yeah.
shouldn't try to like, because a lot of like dumb Wignats usually do that. It's like,
Yeah,
all of
well,
Africans are literally dumb.
what you can get yourself into when you're like an absolutist, you believe like, oh, the average IQ score is everyone's high IQ score is you can get challenged by an actual high IQ African and you can get like very much humiliated. So it's very important to like say the accurate claim that the average IQ is this, not like all Africans have 66 IQ.
Yeah, maybe Nick Fuentes could have explained
education.
that to Piers Morgan in his interview.
Learning education. Well, Fuentes, he's weird. Like he tried to mask his weird like Wiccanat beliefs. Like like half of Africans in America need to be in jail. Just
Yeah, he did say that on a
because,
stream once.
whereas the crime rate is not like 50%. But another thing is that the point that I made in my African essay is that, or sub-Saharan essay, was that the same thing with the white race or the Asian race. If you do not filter out the low IQs, if you don't select for with evolutionary or eugenic pressures, the higher IQs, the racial group can devolve. So basically, they are the example of like lower selection in that sense. So hypothetically, if you had knowledge and propaganda and like eugenic programs, you could raise their IQ, and yeah, their dark skin is ideal for blocking out extra sun rays. So I don't support the Wignats who want to like basically oof all of them and like replace them with white settlers or something. It's very like LARPy, and the best way to help them is to like reduce the poisoning, sort of like lead poisoning there, and enact eugenic programs. And then
Which whereabouts would you do that? So like in what countries the lead poisoning?
The lead poisoning, Nigeria, because he actually made a video where he talked about China dumping a lot of like cheap product there, and sometimes African countries have been paid, or corrupt officials have been paid.
Okay, yeah. I was wondering
to store like waste, to store waste in their countries, and that waste can leak, and that leakage, like lead or like more poisonous paints, can like ruin a brain if they get into the water supply. Learning education, life experience can change cognitive abilities over time. Yeah, if you're like properly trained, I think in like logic and like pattern recognition, you can increase your IQ test a bit. Usually they kind of correct for age as well. So they're not like absolutely frozen in time just because of your genes. Yeah. So yeah, like education and pattern recognition are important to teach as well before you take an IQ test.